Namaste and welcome to the Yoga Pantry with me, Natasha. I thought I would take you through a lovely stretch class today. So if you're feeling a little tight in the shoulders or the legs, then come on and put some comfy pants on, maybe a comfy top, and let's stretch out. Alright, let's come into a child's pose. Child's pose is such a lovely pose to stretch out the back, especially if it's feeling a little bit tight. So you can have the knees together, slightly apart, or much wider. Knees together is going to round the back and stretch it out a little better. So just find what feels good for you. Take your time to get down here. Have a little wiggle, a little jiggle. And you could drop the head to the ground to a prop, or you could place your palms underneath your forehead, or even stack your wrists, or bring your hands by your side. Just find what feels good for you in this moment. And then breathe. You might find that you want to widen out the legs a bit more. You might find that you want to widen them out a whole lot, and let the chest come down for a slightly different kind of stretch. If that's the case, you can always turn your head to the side. Again, it's really about allowing you to explore your body and find what works for you today. Because what worked yesterday might not be the same. Breathe. Surrender. Release. See if you can send your breath into the back of your body. Feel the expansion down the back, the muscles on either side of the spine, and into the glutes as well. Now you can have a bunch of props with you today, or you can just use your body. Couple more breaths here. Deep breath in to lift, and we're just going to come to a tabletop. Stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And then we're going to shoot our right foot back and stretch back into that heel to get into the calf muscle. Try not to dump all the weight here. Bring a little integrity into your body by drawing the rib cage up towards the back of your body as you press the floor away through the hands and reach back into your heel. Head relaxed, face relaxed. And let's release, other side. And breathe into that. And release. We'll stretch the back a little more by rounding into a cat, chin in towards your chest. And then soften to center. And we're going to do that again, round into a cat, chin into chest. So we're not doing the full cat-cow here, just this back. And then soften. And then again, press around. And then soften. Now we'll start to lift through the tail. Let the chest expand. Gaze upwards to that space between your eyebrows. And maybe jut the chin forward slightly. And stretch out the throat. And soften. Exhale, round. Inhale. Expand the chest, stretch out that belly. Just moving at your own pace, nice and slow. Explore. One more. Oh, something happening in the next room. And then back to center. Tuck your toes And this one can be a little bit torturous, so if you need to just crawl back and stay here, that's okay. But if it's comfortable, sit back onto those heels. You can have blocks beside you, you can have them in front, and just lean off it. I know that this is really tough for some people, but it's amazing for your feet, like absolutely amazing. What it does is it stretches out all of the connective tissue, the fascia, along the sole of the foot, which will actually, surprisingly, release the connective tissue along the back line of your body. Right, now this one, next one seems a little trickier, but actually relieves that pressure that we're putting on those toes. So if you can, draw your belly in. We're just gonna lift and find balance. If you need to have the hands on the floor, do that. Otherwise, just take a moment. Just building a little strength into those feet. And then knees down, drop it down, tops of the feet down, give them a tap out. Sit down. This is also tricky. Now this might be enough, like if this is super intense to sit, you can pop something underneath your hips, but if you're okay, you can lean back. Ooh, and if that's intense, maybe you stay there. But if you're okay, maybe lift a knee and just see, this is stretching out ankles. And then maybe check the other side. And you know, maybe that's all you do, but for those of you that are more flexy, have stronger ankles, you can sit up into it a bit more, find your balance point, hold your knees. Think about the curves of your spine, up to your crown. And let's release gently down, release, release, release. Tabletop, tap it out. And just see how that feels. Alrighty, let's step into a low lunge. Getting into our hamstrings and our hip flexors. So your lunge could be short or it could be a nice deep one like this. But make sure knee over ankle. We're going to extend it beyond in a moment, but not just yet. This is a nice safe place for your knee. You can have blocks beside you. Just let yourself sink into it. Or you can have your fingers. Now make sure the belly's drawn in slightly. We're not even going to rise up. We're just going to stay here and try and sink down. If you want, especially if you've got a bit more bulk around the thighs and the belly, we can move the right foot out slightly and bring the hands to the inside. So we've got some space here. And we're not going crazy, we're not trying to go down super low just yet. Just respecting the body, coaxing it into a little stretch. Let's walk the foot in. We're going to stretch it even more by drawing back. Half split. Draw your toes towards you, chest lengthening forward. As soon as you take that round out of the back and you lengthen, boom, big old stretch down that leg. Chest forward, shoulders back, breathe into it. Back foot can be tucked or flat. You can even sit right down to your heel if that feels good. Or play with balance. Gaze at that foot. Whoa. I like to tap my toes for this one. Hold the foot. And of course, the more flexible you are, the closer you can bring your body to that thigh. There's something happening in the next room. I don't know if you can hear all that noise. Hopefully you can't. Now we're going to come out of that and move our knee past the foot now. So now we get that nice stretch again into the Achilles, into the calf muscle. Breathe into it. And then inhale, release. We're going to step into a down dog because down dog's great to stretch the whole body. If down dog is no good, just step into your tabletop position and move some cat and cow like we did at the start. But if you're happy to down dog it out, come into downward facing dog with me. Relax the head and neck. And then we're going to take the knees down and step your left foot forward. That was a terrible step on my part. And again, remember, knee over ankle or slightly behind. And if you want to, that leg can open out a smidge. We're not going into a full runner's lunge, Or just a smidge, so we're beside that leg when we take our hand to the inside, shoulder distance pretty much. Allow yourself to sink. Bring your awareness to your hips and observe what's going on there. Observe any thoughts, any feelings that arise for you. And then we're going to walk that foot in, so it's hip width apart again, and draw back into our half split. Chest drawing forward, remember. Back foot can be tucked for knee support or flat if that feels better for your body. And if you want to go for that balance, gaze at that toe, at that foot, find your balance, grab hold of the foot. Maybe this is it. Maybe you get a little deeper. Breastbone lining up with that inner thigh. Inhale, release, and gently shift forward. The heel might come off the ground completely, or it might stay on the ground completely. As long as you're feeling a stretch in the calf muscle and the Achilles, you're in the right place. All right, go ahead and step to the top of the mat and hang. Hang out. Shake out the head and neck. If you do have any eye pressure or eye issues like glaucoma or anything like that, or if you have any blood pressure issues, make sure you keep your head above your heart. So you can always be up here. You can play around with those legs, or you can actually just do a nice old wall dog for a good old stretch. But if you're happy coming down, you can have feet together or apart. You can grab your legs or not. You can just hang out, holding on to your elbows, and just experience your body lengthening out through the back line. Try and keep the head, the face, the jaw, the eyes as relaxed as possible here. We're going to dangle for a bit. So if you start to spin out, don't stand up. Come down into a child's pose. If you stand up, you'll get a huge blood rush and a head rush, and you might lose your balance. So just make your way down to the ground. All right, that's what we're going to do now. Hands to the ground, bend your knees as much as you need to. Make your way into a child's pose of your choosing and take a few moments. Inhale, tabletop position. We're going to plant down through the left hand, reach up through the right arm. And as that happens, this left arm comes into the body. Reach up the left shoulder, I should say. Maybe roll out the wrist if they need it. Doesn't matter if the arm doesn't come all the way up to the ceiling. It might just be out to the side. It's all good. And now, taking the arm through into a thread the needle, you can always adjust this hand. Take it through. Make sure that you're going to land your shoulder somewhere between those legs. And your neck is comfortable as you take your head down too. Left hand leverages and supports you. It can stay there in front, or you can lift it, or you can tuck it in. Breathe. And then release. Bring yourself back up. A nice little rounded cat just for a counter pose. Release. Right hand into the ground. Reach up through the left. Plug the shoulder. Don't let it pop out there. Plug it in. Plug it in. You can always shift it for comfort. Reach and stretch so you get this lovely stretch through the side of your body. And let's take it through. Oh, yes. Just feel free to readjust. Don't be afraid. to readjust and find what feels good for you. Allow your right hand to be your leverage or your support, and it might be different on this side or it might be identical. Find what feels good. And then let's release out from there, coming back to center. And slowly from the tail, roll through the spine, let the chin tuck in. And then slowly unroll. Let that chest open. And then sink back. Widen out those knees. Come down into a nice wide-legged child's pose. Chest towards the ground. Breathe into it. Find that inner thigh stretch. If you need to be higher, it's all good. Now, bring yourself back up. And we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us. Shake it out, shake it off. Actually, let's do a little reverse tabletop just to stretch the front of the body before we start to round it out again. Fingers behind you, legs in front. Now for some of you, a little lift might be enough. Just a little lift, or even just sitting back here and lifting through the chest. That might be enough, that might be it. But for the rest of you, maybe you want to lift here. Hack those inner thighs in a little, get the glutes working a little. And then release out. Go ahead, stretch your right foot out. Take your left leg over the top. If it doesn't come over the top, then just bring it by the side. It's all good. In fact, I'm just going to tilt you guys down. Hello. Oh, we're going to run out of battery. That's not great. There we go. Better get onto it. Tilt you down. Leg over the top here. Breathe in and exhale. Oh, that red battery light is stressing me out. That was a full battery when we started. And I haven't actually filmed that much. If this is no good, you can absolutely be up much higher, or you can use a strap or a blanket or anything. You can even use your mat. Inhale, release, and we're going to twist, taking your hand across and twist to the side. Breathe into it. Lifting and lengthening through the core of the body. Inhale back to center. Now you might want to repeat what we just did, or you might want to curl that leg under so that now you're in a lovely full cow face pose. So breathing in here, let's extend the arms, and we're going to take right hand over the top, left hand behind. If you can reach your fingers, go ahead and grab that. Let me face this way. And if you cannot reach your fingers, you can grab the top elbow and pull it skyward. Keep the ribs in. Breathe. Exhale, release, clasp the hands, draw the shoulder blades in, release that out. Oh, feels good. And if you can, come forward. If you can't, just sit into it. Feel the stretch in those hips, the hip creases, the hip flexors there. You might explore coming over to one side or the other. Generally going over to the foot that's in the front gives you a good stretch. But just see where your body's at. Everyone's different, so I like to say generally and not absolutely. Years of teaching so many different types of bodies has shown me that. No matter what we think, there's always an exception to the rule. Inhale, bring yourself up. We're going to twist again towards that right side. Breathe in and exhale, deepen that twist. Release out, pick up that leg, pick up the other leg, and just give those knees a nice little rock out or a little window wiper. And then we're going to extend, I forgot which side already, left leg out, right knee over the top. Draw the sitting bones away or pad up those sit bones if you need to with a blanket or a cushion. And then strap or no strap, come forward. Inhale, release, take a twist towards the right side. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. And then release out. Curl, whoop, up that leg underneath you, or not. Raise the hips a bit more if you need to, sit into it. Left hand over the top. Right hand can come behind, and maybe the hands can touch, maybe they can't. If they can't, just bring the hand over the top. I can so easily do this on the other side, but on this side, I'm obviously a little bit tighter, a little bit wonky. And exhale. Now, if things feel really tight in the knees, release the leg and just do the half that we did before. But if you're feeling okay, you can either sit here if everything feels too tight. I'm so tight on this side. Or you can come forward. Not comfortable on this side. You've got to find comfort. So one of the main tenets of a yoga asana practice, asana's pose, is that your pose wants to be stable and comfortable. Stiram sukham asanam. If it's not, then you need to find ways to make it comfortable and definitely stable, because if either of those two aren't there, chances are you're going to injure yourself, and that defeats the entire purpose of your yogic postural practice. So we want to practice kindness, ahimsa, not just to others but to ourselves as well, and forcing yourself deep into something before your body's ready is ego and not kindness at all. And that little spiel, did you notice your body just opened up as you breathed and surrendered? Remember, you can explore one side or the other. Inhale, rise up, turn to the right again and twist. Release those legs. Give them a little rock. Let that energy come back into the hips, to the knees. We're going to stretch right leg out to the side, left leg into the inner thigh. Breathe in, sit up nice and tall. Maybe place something underneath your hips if you want to. Right hand starts to reach down, and you can have a strap here or grab hold of the leg. And we're not trying to drop down forward. We're opening up through the chest, and we're reaching. You can have the hand up, you can have the hand at your waist, your hip, or you can reach overhead. Breathe. Couple more moments. And release out. Lovely. Let's have a little release. And we'll extend both legs out. Again, raising the hips if you want. Come to the top of your sitting bones. Knees and toes to the ceiling, belly in. This might be it. Or it's hands behind you and lifting. Or sliding towards those feet, grabbing your toes. Or coming forward for support. Again, find what feels right. Try not to round the back a whole bunch. So look for length here. The stretch that we're looking for is in those inner thighs. Don't overdo it. We don't want to give yourself a groin strain. Inhale, rise up, bring that right leg into the inner left thigh, reach for the left foot or leg and find your way over to the side just like we did on the other side. Might be different, might feel different, might be tighter, might be easier. Just embrace it, feel through it, breathe. Inhale, rise up, take a little twist, release. Give your legs a little kick out. Now we're going to do something that I absolutely adore. Thread the needle, but I'm going to show you 3 ways. So you can first of all just rest onto your forearms, right foot over the top of the left, and that might be it. Or maybe you put something underneath that left foot. Or you can press yourself into a seat. Now if you're choosing to sit, don't slouch. Breathe the heart open, and that way you will connect to that glute muscle. You could also lean up against a wall. That works remarkably well as well. So this is one version. If you like that, stay there. Of course, the most common one is lying down and either grabbing hold of the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. And you can control where this leg goes. The further out it goes, the bigger the stretch. The closer in it comes towards the center of the body, the less the stretch. So just see where you want to be. And of course, for those people that none of that is accessible, the wall is amazing, amazing. Foot to the wall. Lift the body, foot over the top, sink down, voila, rest. Find where you need to be. You can get closer and closer to the wall. You can just surrender, breathe. Now you can stay here for a bit more or release that out, give those legs a release, swap sides. Of course, any of those versions that you've just done, you can choose the same one or you can do the wall. And then let's release that out, shake it out. And what we're actually going to do, if you have a wall, is scoot up there and take your legs up the wall. Now, if you don't have a wall, that's okay. So, situate yourself onto the wall if you have one. For those of you that don't have a wall, it's okay. We're just going to lift our legs and we can either hold them or we can rest a little bit. Just find what feels good. You can even just hold them like this. It's all good. It's a very mild inversion. But if you can find a wall, it's great. If you're super flexible but you don't have a wall, you can grab your feet. Won't be as relaxing, but it will definitely be stretchy. Alright, slide those legs down the wall if they're there, otherwise just draw them in to your body. And we're going to drop our knees to one side, extend the arms, coming into a twist. And back to center. Before we go to the other side, we're going to happy baby it out. So you can hold your knees and let those knees drop out to the side. That's a lovely, gentle happy baby. Or you can grab hold of the feet or the ankles. Lengthen through the torso. And then bringing those knees in. And you can always shuffle the hips over a bit and drop to the other side into your twist. Any twist that feels good. Come back to center and we're going to roll onto our belly. And come, I'm going to get onto my mat, come into a Sphinx pose. So elbows shoulder width apart, hands extended out, shoulders away from the ears, draw the elbows back, stretch your body forward. This is going to stretch your belly and it's also going to strengthen and prep your back. Look for length through the spine, try not to drop the head or throw it back, just find length. Keep that energy, keep drawing those elbows back. Shoulders back. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it come down. Drop the head. And drop yourself down. Extending your arms out. Turn your head to the side. We're going to take one arm, in this case my right arm, across my body, my left arm across the other way. And I'm going to stay down here if I'm comfortable, or if I'm not comfortable, I can take my my right arm, the arm that's crossed underneath, out in front, and just do a half cross. But if it's comfy, I can cross those arms right across completely and hang out. It's a big stretch, so comfy is relative. Inhale, bring in that left arm out in front, right arm out. We can take that right arm over the top and maybe we just do a little halfie, or we can take that left arm right across and rest. And let's release those arms out. Drop them by our side. Turn your head to the side and rest. Maybe wobble the hips. Boop, boop, boop. Bring your feet in Clasp your hands behind you, turn your head to center, tops of the feet down, draw those arms back, stretch out, little shark pose. Lift the arms for a moment and release down. Just shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Tuck your toes. Actually, what we're going to do is stretch shoulders a little bit more by bending our feet, grabbing hold of the ankles. If you can't hold your ankles, grab like a couple of socks or a strap or something that you can put around the ankles and hold on to instead. And then press into the back of the feet to lift the chest. Breathe here. Feel that extension through the spine, thighs into the ground. This is not a bow pose. We're not lifting our heels to the sky. We're actually pressing our thighs into the ground and the shins to the back wall. Release. Release, hands to your ribs. Shrug the shoulders back. Draw the belly in to peel out safely. And then sink into a child's pose. Rounded back, knees closer together if you can. So we get to stretch out our back. Breathe. Inhale, come up, stretch those legs out in front of you. And we're going to walk the sitting bones back. Inhale, lengthen, reaching for the feet or using a strap. And exhale, chest towards the toes. Try not to round the back. We're going to do that next. So just experience this. You might be much higher. That's all good. Try not to drop the head. Just keep it centered. This is about the legs. Breathing yourself forward, breathing your heart towards your toes. And then soften, release, let the back round, inhale. Now you can round, let the back round, the knees soften, and just let the head drop. This is going to stretch your back gently. You can come down as low as you feel comfortable, just letting the back round completely. Feel that stretch, especially the mid-back. It's a good mid-back stretch. Inhale, come up, come on, onto your back again, lying down, little hug in, but let's drop into a reclined butterfly, soles of the feet together, knees out wide, and if it feels nice, arms overhead, maybe holding your elbows, maybe not. Try and soften your face, your eyes, your jaw. If you need support underneath the knees, pop a couple of pillows underneath them. Just feel all that energy. You might feel quite a lot of sensations around the hip and the back at the moment because of the things we've just done. So if it's super intense, don't freak out. It's totally normal. You can draw your knees into your chest and rest a little more before you come into your butterfly. And let's bring those knees in, extending your legs out. Now the arms can stay where they are or they can come down. We're going to walk our feet over towards the right side. And then we're going to shift our shoulders to the right as well, unless you don't want to. And then we're going to explore either crossing the right foot over the left or left over the right to see where you get that stretch down the left side of your body. Draw both sides of your hips down, both sides of your shoulders. Breathe and surrender, arms wherever you like. You can even hold your left wrist and pull it out towards the right slightly more for a deeper stretch. Just find what feels good. You don't have to effort at all. You can just relax into it. Keep softening. Shoulders back to center. I know that was blissful, but we got to do the other side. Heels over to the other side. Shoulders over if they want to go. And then explore which ankle going over the top gives you a better sensation of stretch down the right side. Now you can grab onto the right wrist, maybe pull it over a little, and then just soften. And then release back to center. And we're just gonna bring those knees in one last time, but we're gonna cross the hands onto the knees, let the knees drop out wide so the shoulders get stretched across the body one more time. This is called reverse child's pose. It lets your back completely surrender into the floor. So do that, surrender completely. While the back surrenders into the floor, you get a gentle stretch through the shoulders and a gentle stretch through the hips. You also get a gentle compression into the abdominal organs. Brilliant. And we're going to take the arm that was underneath, cross it over the top, and resume. And then release out. Have a little wiggle, a little jiggle, and any other pose. If there's any other pose you feel like you really want, plow pose, bridge pose, anything, off you go. Otherwise, Shavasana beckons. And if Shavasana doesn't work for you, then sit or come into child's pose again. Or a lovely active restorative pose with the feet wide, knees in. Just find somewhere that you can completely surrender. Completely let go. I'm gonna leave you here for as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me in this lovely stretch class. Hopefully you feel nice and stretched. It was super gentle stretch today. Have a lovely day or evening. And if you really enjoy my stuff, press the subscribe button, press the notification bell, and tell all your friends to come and join us over here at the Yoga Pantry with me, Tash, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.